So I'm in the middle of writing up some stuff about Intertwingler, which, if you are just tuning in, is the application server that I wrote. And in the middle of inundating Christian with voice messages on Signal, it came up with a funny little maxim that I just wanted to repeat here, which was systems abhor a use case. And what I mean is sort of systemy things kind of break the idea of a use case. Because like he kept coming to me and he's like, what's the use case? What's the use case? And I'm like, what's the use case of Lego, right? Like Lego, what are you going to say? Like Lego's for building toy spaceships. Well, it's also building toy castles and cars and, et cetera, pirate ships, whatever. So you're going to, have this, and, like your list of things that you build with Lego, is going to get, infinitely long. And the whole point of it is to build things that nobody thought of building. And what's interesting about Lego is that, there's no specific use case as far as a use case is, normally conceived, because invariably a use case is supposed to achieve a particular goal. And it's like, well, what's the goal of Lego? And the goal of Lego is to have fun playing with it. But one of the things that you can say about Lego is that it has extremely well-defined behavior. The geometry, the engineering tolerances, the aspect ratios, the amount of force it takes to put two Lego pieces together and pull them apart. So there's like a set of rules and constraints, like both on your experience of playing with Lego, and if you're actually making new Lego pieces, you've got a set of rules. So instead of defining particular goals like use cases, you're defining a set of constraints and a set of expectations, which is kind of interesting when you kind of superimpose that onto use cases where, the expectation is that you achieve the goal, like that you get what you want. So the idea of the sort of Lego as a system is like, so I know that, when I get Lego, which I got that for Christmas, I kind of have an idea like what the experience is going to be like no matter what it is. I have some sort of sense like it's going to be kind of predictable. And similarly, that's, the goal of Intertwingler is to provide that sort of same level of predictability and well-defined behavior. So it's like it's predictable and reliable, and it behaves in ways that you expect. So if you look at Ruby on Rails or Django or even something like WordPress, which is kind of on like a different level, you've got these sort of expectations of behavior and the kinds of work that you're going to have to do and not have to do and so on. But the expectations around what Intertwingler does are different. But that's the sort of idea. Like this sort of idea of systems don't have use cases per se. They just have behavior. They have constraints. And a good system is one that behaves consistently so that if I do this, I get that. And that's kind of the guarantee, is this sort of set of behavior, this sort of constraints permit all sorts of affordances, and then you can sort of bank those mentally. And you get a sort of level of comprehension of like what you're capable of. So it's a sort of support for agency in that regard. And there are degrees of freedom that you are closing off, but those are degrees of freedom that you don't need and are actually potentially deleterious. So we get rid of those. And the net effect should be just like more like a meta use case insofar as like I can build anything with this Lego with these constraints. I can make whatever, web application with Intertwingler, again with these constraints. And so it allows me to sort of project into the future like what that process is going to be like. Anyway, gonna finish my coffee.